Women and men are different not only in their obvious physical attributes but also in their psychological makeup. There are actual differences in the way women's and men's brain are structured and wired, and in the way they process information and react to events and stimuli. Women and men differ in the way they communicate, deal in relationships, express their feelings, and react to stress. Thus, the gender differences are based in physical, physiological, and psychological attributes. Hi, I am Firdaus Mudassir, and welcome to my channel. Today's topic is mental health, men versus women. Gender is a critical determinant of mental health and mental illness. The patterns of psychological distress and psychiatric disorder among women are different from those seen among men. Women have higher mean level of internalizing disorders while men show a higher mean level of externalizing disorders. When it comes to mental illness, the sexes are different. Women are more likely to be diagnosed with anxiety or depression, while men tend towards substance abuse or antisocial disorders, according to a new study published by the American Psychological Association. Published online in an APA's Journal of Abnormal Psychology, the study looked at the prevalence by gender of different types of common mental illnesses. The researchers also found that women with anxiety disorders are more likely to internalize emotions, which typically results in withdrawal, loneliness, and depression. Men, on the other hand, are more likely to externalize emotions, which leads to aggressive, impulsive, cohesive, and non compliant behaviors, according to the study. The researchers demonstrated that it was differences in these liabilities to internalize and to externalize that accounted for gender differences in prevalence rates of many mental disorders. Let's have a look at women's mental health, the facts according to the World Health Organization report 2001. Depressive disorders account for close to 41.9% of the disability from neuropsychiatric disorders among women compared to 29.3% among men. Leading mental health problems of the elderly are depressions, organic brain syndromes, and dementias. A majority of them are women. An estimated 80% of 50 million people affected by violent conflicts, civil wars, disasters, and displacements are women and children. Lifetime prevalence rate of violence against women ranges from 16% to 50%. And last, at least 1 in 5 women suffer rape or attempted rape in their lifetime. What affects women's mental health? Around 1 in 5 women have common mental health problems such as depression and anxiety. While there can be many reasons why these develop, some risk factors affect many women. Women are more likely than men to be carers, which can lead to stress, anxiety, and isolation. Carers UK has information on looking after your mental health. Women are also more likely than men to live in poverty, which, along with concerns about personal safety and working mainly in the home, can lead to social isolation. Women also are more likely to experience physical and sexual abuse, which can have a long term impact on their mental health. Next, women are more likely to experience sexual violence, which can lead to PTSD, which is post traumatic stress disorder. When women find it hard to talk about feelings, they tend to internalize them. This can lead to depression, eating disorders, and self harm. Men are more likely to act out their feelings through disruptive and antisocial behavior. On the other hand, some factors protect women's mental health. They tend to have better social networks than men, find it easier to confide in their friends, and are more likely to have been treated for mental health problems. Let's have a look at the stigma and the issues surrounding women's mental health. Women may be less likely than men to seek treatment after experiencing symptoms of mental illness. This is due to the internalized or self stigma that results from their self image being formed by how others perceive them. The stigma of seeking treatment for mental illness is greater among women of color. Johns Hopkins Medicine reports that while women are twice as likely as men to experience serious depression, African American women are half as likely as Caucasian women to ask for help from a mental health professional. Latina women are similarly hesitant to seek treatment when experiencing symptoms of mental illness. Researchers posit that the culture of minority communities may be a hindrance because it often prevents women as strong and stoic, placing the need of their loved ones above their own. Inroads are being made to combat such stigma by convincing women that seeking treatment for their mental illness will improve their ability to take care of their families. Now, let's discuss men and mental health. In England, around 1 in 8 men has common mental health problems such as depression, anxiety, panic disorders, or OCD, which is obsessive compulsive disorder. There are other signs that might give us better picture of the state of men's mental health. 3 times as many men as women die by suicide. Men aged 40 to 49 have the highest suicide rates in the UK. Men report lower levels of life satisfaction than women, according to the government's National Wellbeing Survey. Men are less likely to access psychological therapies than women. Only 36% of referrals to the NHS talking therapies are for men. In addition, men are far more likely than women to go missing, sleep rough, become dependent on alcohol, and use other drugs frequently. We come to the most important part of this video. Why don't men talk about mental health? Society's expectations and traditional gender roles play a role in why men are less likely to discuss or seek help for their mental health problems. We know that gender stereotypes about women, the idea they should behave or look in a certain way, for example, can be damaging to them. But it's important to understand that men can be damaged by stereotypes and expectations too. Men are often expected to be the breadwinners and to be strong, dominant, and in control. While these aren't inherently bad things, they can make it harder for men to reach out for help and open up. Some research also suggests that men who can't speak openly about their emotions may be less able to recognize symptoms of mental health problems in themselves and less likely to reach out for support. Men may also be more likely to use potentially harmful coping methods such as drugs or alcohol and less likely to talk to family or friends about their mental health. However, research suggests men will access help that meets their preferences and is easy to access, meaningful, and engaging. For example, men's sheds provide community spaces for men to connect and chat, often over practical activities. So, what are the common mental illnesses amongst men? Number one, depression. Male depression often goes undiagnosed. Per year, more than 6 million men suffer from depression. Both men and women can experience depression, but the signs appear differently in both. Men have higher tendency to turn to substance abuse and become aggressive when depressed. Number two, anxiety. Yes, men get anxious too. 5 in 10 men suffer from anxiety disorder, panic attacks, agoraphobia, and other phobias. Symptoms include muscle pain, headache, sleeping issues, anger, and irritability. Number 3, bipolar disease. Men are as vulnerable to bipolar disorder as women in both adolescence and adulthood. It is the sixth leading cause of death in the world. Symptoms in men are manic episodes, greater aggression, co-occurring substance abuse, etc. Number 4, schizophrenia. 90% of people who are diagnosed with schizophrenia at the age of 30 are men. The symptoms include delusions, hallucinations, disorganized thinking, etc. And number 5, eating disorder. Women with eating disorders tend to be obsessed with weight loss, while men are focused on obtaining a muscular physique. If these mental health conditions aren't embraced properly or coped with, men are likely to turn to alcohol and other drugs as a way to numb their pain. To subset, men are almost 2 times more likely to binge drink than women. Not only they do binge drink, but they are also substantially at the risk of committing suicide. This approach to men's mental health issues does more harm than any good. We need to talk openly about mental health. Suffering in silence isn't a safe or healthy option for the men in our lives. Check in with them. Ask them how they're feeling, especially if one of them has experienced a recent event that could trigger depression. Look for changes in his behavior and watch out for depression symptoms. If you think someone you love has depression, offer your support, listen, and be patient. Encourage him to talk to his doctor or a mental health professional, or you can help him find treatment services in his area. Living with depression can feel overwhelming and isolating. So let him know he's not alone. Help is available and he can feel better. So that's it from me in this video, folks. I especially request you to share this particular video with your loved ones, men and women. If you have liked this video and the other videos on this channel, make sure you hit the subscribe button and also click the notification bell icon. You can also follow me on other social media platforms like Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn. In case of any doubt, query, or inquiry, make sure you write to us on the email ID given in the description box. See you in the next video. Thank you so much.